All right, guys. It is officially day 365 for me on my weight loss journey. 1 year has passed since I promised myself that I would get in shape, get my health in order. It did not happen. It started to happen and then it stopped. So tonight, Andrew Babe, which is his family name in case you didn't know, so you can torment him with that. He is going to help me out tonight with a year in review interview vlog post, and we're going live on Facebook. It is 9:15 p.m. so I'm not thinking anybody is actually going to watch this as it's live, but I'm gonna save the video and then I'll post it later. So Andrew Babe is going to ask me some questions, and we will talk about my weight loss journey project that is not a flop, but it certainly didn't succeed in the way that originally I had hoped. So Andrew Babe has some questions. He's going to help me, and so here it is.
So how exactly did the year go? What was the plan, and what happened?
So the plan originally was to lose 100 pounds, and I figured out really quickly that pounds don't matter, and I didn't figure that out until I started researching and following some really successful fitness and weight loss people that really just were adamant about the fact that the scale is your enemy. And so originally my goal was to lose 100 pounds this year. Then my goal, because I started out at 240 pounds, it's my heaviest I've ever been. I think I may even have been 250 pounds because I had a snafu with a scale. My scale was like a broken scale. Anyway, so I started out around 240, 250. So after I figured out that the scale was just not my friend, I decided to go for sizes, to lose sizes instead of losing weight. So my goal was to cut my size in half. So I was a size 24 and I wanted to get down to a size 12. I started out going really strong for the first 6.5 months, and then Dad got sick. We can talk a little bit about that later. And by the time month 7 had rolled around, I was down to a 16 from a 24. And so, I was doing pretty good. And then Dad got sick, and, then things derailed we'll talk about it again. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but, I was never able to get back to where I had been when I first started. So that's kind of like the year in review. But if you have any specific questions.
Well, when Dad got sick, how often were you at the hospital, and for how long typically?
So when Dad very first got sick, I went from working out basically like 5 times a week and eating really, really well for 6 months to not working out at all and eating nothing but fast food. And Dad was in the hospital, like solid in the hospital, admitted to the hospital for 2 months. And my mom and I switched off, but I was there essentially out of every 48-hour period. I was there about 30 hours at a time. After that, the next 2 months, he switched to a nursing center, a nursing facility, and I was there half the time as well. So I don't think that I worked out. I think I maybe worked out once during that whole 4 months. And so it's not that it would have been impossible to get back on track weight loss wise and trying to do my journey. I just was so overwhelmed with Dad's illness, and he almost died twice, and I could not wrap my mind around getting back on track. So I did about 6.5 months solid with the weight loss journey that I was on, and then about 4 months of totally neglecting it completely. And I wouldn't say I neglected it on purpose. It just is what happened. Life just happened. And that leads us to the final 2 months, which there is no excuse for me having completely derailed these last 2 months. I would say that the last 2 months were the only point in this whole year where I actually failed, where I knew that I had the time and the ability to eat healthy and to work out, and I simply chose not to. And I only regret the last 2 months of this year. That's my only regret.
So, what are your plans going forward for this next year?
So year 2 starts tomorrow. I'm pumped. No, I'm exhausted. It's the week before Christmas. I have got so many Christmas crafts to make. This year, I dedicated myself to making most of our Christmas gifts instead of buying them for 2 reasons. One, to try to minimize how much money we have to spend, and also to try to get away from the materialism of Christmas and all of that, which is all very fine and noble. But it is the week before Christmas, and I am pretty much positive that I'm going to go crazy. But hopefully, if all goes well tomorrow, I will work out and I will eat well. When I very first started a year ago, I went cold turkey. No soda, no processed food. Oh man, I was cooking in the kitchen all day long. I just don't think that's practical. I have no idea if it's practical, but tomorrow I'm going to try to work out. That's the main thing, because my journey is still going. I will still get in shape and I will still lose the weight and I still will become healthy, but I have no idea if I'll ever have the gusto that I had 1 year ago. It will be a year ago tomorrow, but I'm going to try. That's my goal. Strengths and weaknesses. Strengths, I learned so much this last year. I can't even begin to tell you how much I learned. Mainly, I learned a lot about sugar and the fact that sugar is in everything and what it does to our body. I watched an amazing YouTube video on the effects of sugar on our cells and the process that our cells go through as we begin to lose weight. It was very informative. I learned what works for me. I've decided that I pretty much am positive that I am considered a flexible dieting lifestyle person. I think I'd like to call myself like a choice-based dieter, in that it's not a diet, it's a lifestyle, in that it really comes down to the choices that you make. So eventually, I would like for all of my choices to be choices that I can be proud of. But this week is a sterling example of how I had zero self-control. I can't even tell you how many candy bars I've eaten or how many sodas I've had, how much fast food I've eaten, but eventually I will get there. Eventually. I don't know when, but eventually.
So, what were the weaknesses then regarding the plan?
So the main weakness in the beginning was that I started calorie counting, and I was really determined not to exceed my caloric intake based on the plan that I was on, and I made myself sick. Like, I literally made myself, I collapsed and I couldn't move for a few minutes. It was kind of scary. Andrew and I were working out and my body just quit on me. So that was not wise. It was not good. But I learned a lot from that, so I wouldn't say that it's a total loss, but definitely the weakness was not sufficiently preparing. I mean, I was just gung-ho. I just was like, okay, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it. I'm going to figure it out. It took me like 6 months to figure out what actually works for me. I tried absolutely everything. I tried calorie counting. I tried the keto diet. I tried THM. I tried the Whole30. I tried it all. I tried it all. And really the only thing that works for me, the thing that I most align with, or that is the best for me, is the flexible dieting lifestyle or choice-based dieting, which is something that doesn't quite exist, but it should, because it's what I do, where I choose what I will eat and I try to make the wisest choices that I possibly can based on all of the information that I have at hand.
So in your plan moving forward, can you give us more specifics on that?
So given the fact that tomorrow starts year 2, I really should have a more defined plan. I don't. But I do know that I think the best thing for me is to not allow myself any soda under any circumstances, because it's such a crutch for me. I love it. I'm like addicted to it. And then also to minimize the amount of processed and fast food that I eat. Honestly, I think those 3 things alone make for just a great weight loss system. And then always keeping in mind the fact that sugar works against you, whether or not it's in processed food. Sugar is not good for your body. And minimizing the amount of sugar that I do eat, including sugars that come from carbohydrates, like in bread and pasta. Just shoot me, because I love bread and pasta. Let's ask Andrew, babe, a question. How has this year been for you as somebody who has had to, like, live through the ups and downs of this project as my husband.
It was hard at first initially, especially with changing diet both for you and for me. It got a little easier as time went on, and as I got used to not having soda as often myself, and I think you got used to it as well over time. I mean, it was a tough year overall, just with Pops getting sick and everything that went with that. So I'm hoping that year 2 is a little less hectic and we can see what your plan actually unfolds into.
I hope it's less hectic too. Oh my goodness. What would you say you saw were the benefits of me trying this program?
Overall, I'd say your energy, mainly.
Yeah.
You had a lot more energy. And you didn't seem as tired all the time.
And that was one of the main reasons I started this journey in the first place, is because one day I realized I could not play with my children. Like, I was so exhausted all the time. And the kids like to play horseback rides and run around, and I could not do it. And the sad part is that I am right back where I started. I actually don't know how much I weigh right now. Probably right back up to 240. I don't know what size I am, but all my clothes are small, so I'm probably back to at least a minimum of a 20, probably 22, maybe even 24. I want to be healthy, especially with Dad and his strokes this year. He has now had a total of 9 in the last 5 months. Everybody in my family has diabetes. It's what it is. And so I just want to be healthy. I just want to be healthy. Andrew went cold turkey with me for a little bit. It was hard for him, but did you see any benefits when you gave it a shot, like a real shot?
I'd say the main thing was not getting heartburn all the time. That was my favorite thing.
We have Tums by our bedside, like literally, both of us, each of us independently. And when one runs out, we share with the other. But yeah, I'd like to get back to not having heartburn all the time too. So that's it. 1 year today, officially 1 year since I started my weight loss journey. Like I said, I only regret the last 2 months because that was volitional neglect of working out and eating properly. The 4 months preceding that, I couldn't control it, and I needed to have proper priorities, and that meant that working out took a backseat. Preparing like a mad woman food ahead of time took a backseat. But year 2 starts tomorrow, and we can do it. We'll do what we do with the kids at dinner. Go Taylors! Aw, go team. Okay, which one? You want to do team or Taylors?
Team.
Go team! All right, thanks for watching. See you later, guys. Bye.